Hey everybody, hope everybody's day is going very well. It is the last day of February, the shortest month of the year, obviously, as you probably know. It's the 28th, and there's some news and other stuff to get into, so why don't we get started? So our first news story is about Sharks Erik Karlsson, who is injured again. I think it's like his second or third injury this season, so not very helpful. He's out with a groin injury, missed the third period of their last game, I believe. Uh, Panthers? I don't remember exactly. He also didn't play in Sunday's game against, Sunday against the Red Wings. So he's missed a couple games now. Excuse me. And hopefully he'll get started again. He's expected to miss about a week, so he should be back in the ice real soon. So this is kind of interesting. So the Flyers are actually about to set an NHL record for the most amount of goaltenders used in a season. Okay, so the Flyers currently have used 7 this season when they started Carter Hart for the first time back in December. And Cam Talbot, who they got in a trade from Edmonton last week, he will be expected to start tonight in their game. So Talbot will be the 8th goaltender that the Flyers suit up to put between the pipes. So that breaks a record. I think it's the 1995-96 Quebec Nordiques held the record for having 7 in one season. Which is funny because their coach is actually one of the goaltenders that was on the Nordiques team. So the Flyers are setting a new record here with their 8th goaltender tonight in Cam Talbot. So congrats to the Flyers for making history. Kind of an odd category to do so in, but it is true and it's part of the game. It is a category that is a real thing, so it counts. We can call it that. So good news from an unfortunate thing that happened in yesterday's game between the Devils and I believe the blanking here. I think it's the Panthers. Hopefully I'm right. I don't know if I am. But Mirco Mueller, a defenseman for the Devils, was injured and he collided with another player. He went headfirst into the boards. So very gruesome. He was badly hurt. He couldn't get up, so they had to bring out the stretcher, which is something you never want to see in the game. It's really an unfortunate sight every time you do see it. So you never want to see that. And luckily, he is out of the hospital and is released today. So he's obviously he's injured. So we'll have to see how long that'll be, and hopefully everything is okay with him and he gets better soon. It's something you never want to see in the game, but it happens in all sports. So hopefully a quick recovery for Mueller. So, and then also in injury news, there's a lot of injuries today. Jesse Pulijajarvi of the Edmonton Oilers will be out for the rest of the season. He's been on the reserve for 10 days right now. He's last played in the game February 18th. He was injured. So his injury is requiring hip surgery, which is going to sideline him for the rest of the season. And if it ever happened, there would be no hope for him in the playoffs. The Oilers are pretty behind. So if anything, he'll be ready next season. So surgery is going to take some time, and then he's going to need to kind of rehab from there. So he'll be out for the rest of the season for the Oilers, which probably isn't much of a detriment because the Oilers probably aren't going very far, and they just need to focus on the next season as it is. So now moving on, our game to watch, Maple Leafs and Islanders. Okay, so both these teams are very good, but the really important thing is that this is John Tavares' first game back on Long Island. So things are not going to be, I don't think the Islanders fans are going to be very nice. Even when he signed with Toronto, they weren't very nice. So I can't imagine how they'll be in person. I already saw some things on Twitter. If you look up Tavares on Twitter and just search his name, There's tons of things from there's tons of tweets like people calling him a traitor and stuff. I actually saw the pregame warm up. People were throwing literal like plastic snakes onto the ice. So the fans are not happy. I mean, they can try to be classy and everything, but they're not happy about Tavares and what he did for the team, and kind of left him out to dry and went to sign with Toronto. So beside that, it's probably going to be a pretty even match. Both these teams are pretty good. The Islanders are at the top of the Metro almost, and then the Maple Leafs, I think, are third in the Atlantic. So probably a pretty even match regardless. So hopefully everything goes good, and hopefully Tavares doesn't get too much attention that he doesn't want. But that's inevitable. It's going to happen. So let's see how the Islanders fans, probably not going to be nice to him, but it'll be a fun game to watch, I'm sure. So now our second game to watch is a very important one. If you want to watch it, it's on NBC Sports Network. So it's between the Lightning and the Bruins. So the Lightning are still #1 in the league, and the Bruins are second in the division. So the Bruins are, I think, about 10 or 15 points behind the Lightning, so there's a lot of disparity here. But first and second place going on right here. So Bruins probably working towards getting the victory at home, which is always nice. The Lightning have won 10 straight going into this, so it's kind of a game the Bruins want to win, I'm sure. The Lightning are not going to give anything nice. They're going to try and keep the streak going and try to get as many wins as possible, because they've almost, I believe they actually almost clinched the division. There's not a lot of games left. There's a little less than 20, so we'll have to see how that one goes. So now moving on to stats, again, talking about the Lightning, Nikita Kucherov, the guy who's been great for him all season. He's sitting at 104 points and 74 assists. He got 3 assists in his last game. Very impressive. Alex Ovechkin still with 44 goals. And now Ron Hainsey of the Maple Leafs has overtaken Giordano and his gang in the plus-minus category. He's plus 32, which is great for a defenseman. So plus 32, Ron Hainsey leading that. So now in goalies, as we talked about the Islanders earlier, Robin Lehner is another factor that's kept the Islanders afloat so much. He's got a 210 goals against average, and he's tied with Vasilevsky of the Lightning with a 93 save percentage. And now moving on to goalie wins, Marc-Andre Fleury hit the 30 mark in his last game. He's playing again tonight, so maybe he can get another. And then shutouts, he's tied with Vasilevsky, just like in save percentage, where he's at 6 as well. So Fleury still sitting at 6, tied with Vasilevsky of the Lightning. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Hockeybar. It really means a lot to us. If you're new to the channel, do make sure you hit the subscribe button. We post videos every day, and it really means a lot to us, as I said before. And I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. We hope to see you in the next one.